missing the final piece of the puzzle, but they have been shooting all week in all differing weather conditions and against all manner of opponents, and it really is a long journey to get to that gold.
And not to mention the training and all the practice that goes into this. And yeah, as you pointed out, today just the precious few arrows to decide it all, and you just keep it all bottled in to remain cool and calm, and then yeah, no sweeter feeling when you just can let it all go and enjoy the gold medal. Now time for the last one,
the final. We've raced through them, and it's the men's compound to round off a fabulous set of individual finals in Cesana. And there is the unmistakable figure and face of Domagoj Buden of Croatia. Utterly dominant in this discipline in the European field archery individual pursuits. He's taken the title the last 3 occasions. A 4th would be extraordinary. Stood ahead of him is Marco Bruno of Italy, who defeated his countryman Godano 66-65 in a nerve-shredding semi-final. He's tasted gold already this week as part of the men's team, where they defeated Sweden in the final. He's enjoyed a silver in this final once before, back in 2021, losing, of course, to his adversary today. Bernardo, this is a very high caliber final, and it could be very tense all the way through the 12 arrows of each of these men.
Absolutely. I believe it's going to be the same standard as what we've seen today so far. Two very high quality archers, ranked well in the world ranking, with plenty of field experience, as you mentioned. And yeah, I believe it's going to be a thriller. Beginning of end, number 1.
Yes, so the final time we line up for the tri-spot target of end number 1. 20 centimeters, the diameter of those 3. You're allowed to hit them in any order you want. You don't have to go top down or bottom up. You can pick and choose. You can even step back off to take a bit more applause from your teammates and countrymen if you're Marco Bruno.
It seems we have a little problem with the timing system, and yeah, just as you pointed out, the crowd taking every opportunity they can to cheer for Marco Bruno. I wouldn't complain about that if I was him. It's great to be cheered like that. It seems we have everything sorted out.
That is something that we haven't touched on, Bernardo, mainly because it's gone so smoothly throughout these finals, is the timing system.
Yeah, and you know, it can be annoying sometimes that these glitches, they can happen out of the blue, but I'm sure the team on site is, you know, working swiftly to have it all sorted. And in last case scenario, we can just go to manual timing, you know, the judge with a stopwatch, and with a simple flag system just to let the archers know how the timing is going. But yeah, I wonder if we're going manual. Anyway, arrows will be flying soon. We're starting this match.
So hopefully the disruption won't detract from the accuracy of these 2 fine archers, Bruno and Buden. Arrow number 1 of the final individual final of the day.
Italy perfect score.
A very strong start from Bruno, and Buden just pulling out his binoculars to scrutinise his efforts that at the moment look like he may be trailing by 2 points after that opening end. And Bernardo, I'd love to get your take, because when you competed in the Summer Olympics, it was 2016. It was, of course, in Rio, your home country, and we can hear so vociferously the support for Bruno here in his home country with all his teammates around. How do you, as an athlete, find that being in your home country? Because it can be a mixed bag. It can be hugely encouraging, but also maybe a bit of added pressure as well.
Absolutely, you're right. But well, me personally, I quite like it. But you know, when you are in the optimal state, and this is what all of us archers strive for, I believe. It's a state where you don't hear anything. You know, it's almost like you're in a bubble, and all the sounds they sound so distant, and it's almost like nothing matters, not even your opponent. It's like you're shooting on your own. And but yeah, it's so much easier said than done to reach this state. But yeah, you shouldn't be focusing on the crowd, of course. You just got to be focusing on your shooting, on the feedback you get from the venue, whether you should compensate or not. And yeah, beginning of end number 2.
Yes, archery, if anything, is about cancelling out as many variables and being in a state of complete control as can be. And on correction, Bruno landed 3 perfect arrows on end number 1, 18 points to Buden's 14. And they both had 5 with their opening arrows of end number 2. N2 completed, and that's not a bad bit of grouping from Buden, but Bruno has a 35 from a possible 36 from his opening 6 arrows.
Yes, what a lead he managed to build on the first end alone. And I think it's usually a target, target number 1, the tree spot so close at 15 meters is usually not where we see big gaps opening up. But you touched on body language before, Joe, and it's really what's catching my attention here in this match. Like Bruno, I wonder if it's the crowd. He really seems to be enjoying himself. His shots are flowing. He looks relaxed. And Buden, he seems really to be struggling. Like we saw so many little corrections at the final part of the shot. Um, his facial expression as well shows that he's not happy. Like I was curious to see his last arrow. Like the shot didn't show at first where it landed. I thought it was a bad arrow because he had a bad look on his face, but it was a six. So even the arrow that landed on the six didn't really please him. And Buden just got to relax a little bit more if he wants to stand a chance of winning the gold medal.
Well, some adjustments being made by both Buden and Bruno ahead of end number 3, which arguably has posed the most problems for all of our finalists. It's seen the most adjustments, and certainly both of these two conscious of that, and a lot of tweaking going on ahead of this 45-meter shot uphill. Well, both starting with great accuracy, and for Buden, he has something of a mountain to climb after the exploits of Bruno from the opening end. So he needs to be bringing his A game for these remaining 5 arrows across the last 2 ends.
Yeah, Buden is running out of arrows. He needs to just hit sixes all the time and also hope that Bruno will drop points, which he is not doing at the moment. Things are looking comfortable for the Italian.
Italy 6-6. Croatia 6-6.
What a group.
Italy 6-6. Croatia 6-6. Italy 52.
We promised a high caliber final, Bernardo, but I don't think that we could have expected such accuracy from Marco Bruno. Buden isn't shooting too badly at all, but Bruno is a man inspired in these opening 3 ends.
Absolutely. Buden seems to have found his shot process, seems to have found, you know, his rhythm. Now, I wonder if it's going to be too late to react. Of course, it's never over until it's over. But yeah, as you pointed out, Marco Bruno, everything's flowing so well. He's making it look easy. I wonder if Domagoj Buden, I'm sorry, will be able to put some pressure on him going into the last end.
Well, into this final end. 60 meters the distance uphill with targets of 80 centimeters in diameter. And Bruno with a handsome lead, 53.49. Bruno hasn't found himself outside of the gold once with any arrow. In fact, they've been predominantly sixes. So he keeps up this form with his final 3 arrows. The gold will be the Italians.
Hi, Bruno.
And he does just that. Another 6 for Bruno. Imperious.
He's making it look easy. Rock solid. Very impressive.
Buden with a face of knowing that his fate was sealed, and Bruno saving his finest shooting to the stage that mattered the absolute most. A masterclass from the compound bow of Marco Bruno, 70-65 in the final of the European Archery Field Championships 2023.